Hi, this is Mrs. Fano again. This will be the last part of my presentation of the intro to the vaccine. So last one, the fourth one, I talk about the mRNA vaccine. So this is a diagram of from Pfizer. So Moderna, they're similar. So the way to see the whole cycle of how they develop the mRNA vaccine is they find a sequence of what they want, and then they make the mRNA, which is actually modified. It's not the natural one. I talked about earlier how that looked like. It's a lot of modified sequence, make it work better. And then through the vesicle, through the lipid, it will go into the cell, and then it will make protein, and then the protein will go to the cell surface, and some may be in the bloodstream, and then it will generate both the cell mediated and the body fluid immune response. So cell mediated is T cell response, generated T cell, memory T cell, and also for the B cell, the memory B cell, and the antibody. So those are very general ideas about the mRNA vaccine. And then we do need to have two shots, so important to get the booster shot. One advantage here to talk about how this technology actually may work better for the coronavirus right now is because coronavirus is a RNA vaccine, RNA virus, and it is mutating. So whenever the mutation we have, now we have a one from UK, one from South Africa, and then they discovered one from Brazil. And so whichever one may cause more, be more infectious or maybe bad, deadly, you need to change the vaccine. So this is the very fast way of making the design, and then just synthesize it. So it's a lot faster than have to grow it in cells. And so it's a faster production. So it's very important. So this is a very important technology. And that's also why it's completed the phase 3 first. Even all the other vaccines were developed around the same time. Another idea about why the mRNA vaccine, or maybe the vector, the virus vector, the adeno virus vector vaccine is also good as well, is that they will not have one of the very bad side effects. It's called ADE. It's antibody dependent enhancement. This is a reaction as what we don't want in any antibody, any vaccine. So what happened was it's a non-neutralizing antibody. What is non-neutralizing antibody mostly happen in the inactivated virus, because we talked about earlier before, the virus, if you put in the whole virus on the surface, there is spike protein, but also there are other protein as well. And even the spike protein, there are other part that's not had nothing to do with for the virus to it's not the key. So only that one domain will actually work to go into, is the key to turn the key on the cell membrane. There's a receptor on the cell membrane to actually be able to go into the cell. So if any antibody against any other part of the virus, it's not neutralizing antibody. So it's non-neutralizing antibody, which is very possible when you use inactivated virus. So what happens is that your body will still, the antibody will still binds to the virus, and then the macrophage actually will gobble it up. If it's, the antibody will tell this is probably not a good guy, or it is somebody not supposed to be here. So the macrophage will gobble it up. But because it's not the particular antibody that can actually tell the macrophage it has an antigen that need to be recognized, the virus actually multiply inside the macrophage and kill it. The macrophage become the incubator for the virus, and then you generate more virus in your bloodstream instead of actually blocking it or kill it. So this is very bad for people who may develop pneumonia. So it can cause inflammation and airway obstruction. That's not a very good immune response. But majority of us don't have that kind of response. If you ever heard anybody say, I never had a flu vaccine and I was fine, and then one time I got a flu vaccine, and then that year I actually developed a very bad flu symptom. I probably actually infected by flu virus, I believe. If that's the case, be tested positive for flu, and that this might play a role. But not everybody had that type of reaction. I have flu vaccine every year, but I never had any bad symptom for flu. And most of the time, actually, probably lighter symptom for most people. But this do happen. But who may get it? Nobody knows. So be aware of that. So inactivated virus vaccine may not be that good for you because of this. Okay. And then next is further talk about the spike protein again. So we review that. This is the receptor binding domain. That's the only part that was used for the mRNA vaccine. So it does not create the bad reaction. So it's not going to create this ADE side effect for mRNA, but inactivated virus might have that. And then the weakened probably too, because it has other protein as well. But it doesn't use that because it's too dangerous. Next, I'll just talk a little bit about different vaccines that's still on the pipeline. They are all doing the phase 3 right now. So AstraZeneca is adenovirus vector, is the chimpanzee's adenovirus vector. It does create pretty good immune response, and then it can be stored at room temperature, so it can reach to like more rural area. So it can be a good vaccine for certain places. And then Johnson and Johnson also has a adenovirus vector vaccine, and whatever the virus called, adenovirus 26, and then it supposedly has a very good immune response for the clinical trial, and they say they only need one shot because somehow whatever the reagent they use in there may help to have a very good immune response. So it does have both the cell-mediated and body fluid, the humoral response to the B cell and the T cell will be there. Another vaccine also in the third clinical trial right now is different from the viral vector one. It's a Novavax vaccine. It's a protein vaccine. Those are the spike protein, and they kind of connect the end of it to form this type of shape. So it's a subunit of the virus, the spike protein, and then but because it does not appear on the cell surface, it will not generate cell-mediated immune response, so the T cell response is very weak, and unless the macrophage gobble it up and create something. So they have to use some kind of enhancer, use a called adjuvant. So that's a particular chemical. A lot of times it has aluminum in it, so some people may be allergic to it. So, but if people are afraid of DNA vaccine or RNA vaccine, think they are going to somehow destroy your cells, you get into your body genome, then this might be a choice for people. But personally, I don't really think it's that good. But it also may be good for elderly people who may have higher risk for developing fever. That may they cannot endure that type of side effect. So we will watch all the different vaccines to see if they can actually work. So far, the mRNA vaccine still is the best choice for healthy people. Um, I hope that's all the information, and hopefully they're all accurate and helpful for you to make your decision. Um, Vaccines still saving people's life. That's very important process of preventing disease. And that's all for my talk. I really hope it's helpful for everybody. Have a good day.